everyone, welcome back. I'm Miriam, a part of the marketing team here at Canada. As you may or may not know, on December 15th, 2025, Bill C-3 officially became law, bringing an important and long-awaited change to Canadian citizenship. If you or your family were affected by the old first-generation limit, this update could finally grant you Canadian citizenship. What was the first generation limit? Under the previous law, if a Canadian was born outside of Canada, they generally could not pass on their Canadian citizenship to their child if that child was also born outside of Canada. In simple terms, citizenship ended after one generation born abroad. This rule left many families in difficult situations. Even though a parent or grandparent may have been a Canadian, their children and grandchildren born outside of Canada were excluded, and many of these individuals were referred to as lost Canadians. What changed under Bill C-3? Bill C-3 removes the first generation limit that I just touched on. Now, many people born outside of Canada may qualify for Canadian citizenship if one of their parents was Canadian at the time of their birth. This change updates Canada's Citizenship Act and allows citizenship to continue through more than one generation born abroad. The goal is to fix past gaps in the law and reconnect families with their Canadian status. Why this change matters. For years, families were separated from their Canadian citizenship because of technical legal rules. Some people even believed that they were Canadian their entire lives, only to discover later that this was not the case and they were not recognized under the old legislation. Bill C-3 helps correct these historical issues and provides clarity moving forward. Who can benefit from this? You can benefit if 1. You were born outside of Canada to a Canadian parent, 2. If your parent was born outside of Canada and told that they could not pass on their citizenship to you, and 3. If you were previously refused citizenship under the first generation limit. If you qualify, you will then need to apply for a Proof of Canadian Citizenship certificate. Once approved, then you can apply for a Canadian passport. While this may sound straightforward, eligibility often depends on careful review of dates of birth, adoption records, and citizenship statuses of your ancestors. This is why a professional assessment can be very helpful. For some future cases, it is important to know that new rules may apply. If a child is born or adopted after December 15th, 2025 to a Canadian parent who was also born or adopted outside of Canada, that parent must now meet a substantial connection requirement. This typically means that the Canadian parent must have lived in Canada for at least 3 years before that child's birth or adoption. Calculating the physical presence of being inside Canada can be a little bit hard to do if you've lived in multiple countries, and hence proper documentation is essential. Now let's dive into the frequently asked questions. What exactly is Bill C-3? Bill C-3 is a law that removes the first generation limit on citizenship by descent and fixes gaps in previous citizenship legislations. Am I automatically a Canadian citizen now? Not necessarily. Even if you do qualify under the new law, you must apply for proof of citizenship to confirm your legal status. Do I need to live in Canada to apply? Most applicants do not need to live in Canada. However, the new substantial connection rule that I just mentioned may apply to children who were born or adopted after December 15th, 2025. What is considered substantial connection? I already mentioned this earlier, but just as a little refresher, the first generation rule generally means that the Canadian parent lived in Canada for at least 3 years before that children's birth or adoption. What documents are usually required? Common documents include your birth certificate, your parent or grandparent's proof of Canadian citizenship, marriage or name change documents if applicable, proof of residence in Canada if required. What if documents are missing? This is very common, and in many cases, records can be requested from Canadian authorities or alternative documentation may be accepted. Just keep in mind that this is on a case-by-case basis. How long does it take? Average processing times are currently 12 months. However, we anticipate that this may very well increase due to the fact that this is a new bill. Can I apply for a passport right away? No. You must first receive your Canadian citizenship certificate before applying for a Canadian passport. Will I lose my current citizenship? Canada itself allows for dual citizenship. However, depending on the country where you do hold your citizenship status, it might be different, as some countries do not recognize nor allow dual citizenship. It is therefore important to check with your country's laws prior to applying. Do I need a lawyer? Although it is not required, citizenship law can be very complicated, especially due to the current immigration climate. Professional guidance from lawyers, such as here at Canadian, can help avoid delays, refusals, or incomplete applications, especially in grandparent cases. Is reclaiming Canadian citizenship worth it? For many people, absolutely. Canadian citizenship allows you to live and work in Canada, have access to an amazing healthcare system, and in turn, you will be receiving one of the world's strongest passports. At Canadian, our immigration lawyers carefully review your eligibility requirements under Bill C-3, help you gather all the right and necessary documents, prepare your application properly, and communicate with IRCC on your behalf if needed. Our goal is to make your process stress-free, clear, and as organized as possible. That brings me to the end of this video. If you believe that Bill C-3 may make you eligible for Canadian citizenship, it is important that you take the correct steps to confirm your status. While these changes may open the door to many lost Canadians, determining eligibility and preparing a strong proof of citizenship application requires careful review of your family history and supporting documents. If you would like to find out if you qualify or if you would like to seek representation through this process, you can email us at info@canadien.com. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it to a friend, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions or any future video topic requests. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to helping you reconnect with your Canadian citizenship.